Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. This here is the Christian Trucker, and today we are going to talk about business structure, the things that I have going. Basically, I'm overloaded. I got so much going on, I don't know which way to go. So let's get into it. First thing let's talk about is going to be accounts. That's right. We're going to start off with accounts, checking accounts to be perfectly precise. Now, when I started this deal, I figured I might have to have two, but I didn't dream that I would end up needing 4 different accounts, especially being as small as I am with just 2 trucks. But it definitely has made sense for me to separate the accounts. I have a main business account. That's where all my money is deposited, and from there I pay out payroll and stuff like that. Now then, I have a fuel account, a fuel business account that I set up separately, and in that account I push money over into it to pay our fuel every week and a couple of other small reoccurring expenses like truck office and stuff like that. But having that separated, the less hands in the pot is the theory I went with, because when you set up a fuel account like I did with Love's, and I'm working on one with Pilot Flying J, they have to have all your bank information and everything, and I just didn't want to spread my information out that much. So I set up the separate fuel account. That way I can keep track of what they're taking out, when they're taking it out, and that a lot easier. And it's worked great. I mean, it's been flawless. Now, the next one that I have is I set up a personal account. That's the account that my wife has, and she can spend whatever's in that account to maintain the house or buy Happies or whatever. That's her money. That's the personal account. Now, the other personal account we have is a billing account. Now, that's to pay all the house bills and anything like that comes up. That allows a level of separation. That way, she's not spending something that I was planning on using for a bill, or I'm not paying bill money with what she was planning on doing for the house. Having that level of separation keeps things moving like they're supposed to. I pay her every week. I slide money in her account. I would recommend to anybody that they do that, because it curtails confusion. It really helps in the accounting of your everyday business. Now, I'm sure as we go, I will probably have some more. I'm thinking about doing money market account or some savings account of some sort. But right now, the way things are, I'm going to be honest with y'all, it just ain't a whole lot left over at the end of the bill paying, because things have been slow. So I ain't real worried about investing and saving at the moment. Right now, we just keeping the wheels turning. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is loans. Yes, loans. I knew we would need credit, and I'm not a big credit fan. When I first started out, I was leasing this truck with Schneider, and that went well, and the tax benefits of leasing are pretty cool. But whenever I got it low enough to finance it with my bank, I got this first truck. I still have it financed with my bank because the payments are manageable, and I am learning that I like to keep what I can in the main. That way, if I have an unexpected expense, I don't have necessarily a maintenance account. What we do is we keep capital for as long as we can in case we need it. That way, your trucks keep rolling and emergencies are not going to put you beside the road. So we have my big Cascadia. We have Max, which is, I think we owe $5,000 on Max. We owe, I think, $13 on DD, the one I'm driving. And then we have trailer 1, my first trailer. I owe $8,000 on that one. And then trailer 2 and 3, I believe, were around $15,000 on those two. I got lucky on that deal when I got those 2 trailers through Ryder, because I was able to get them buy one, get one half off. And another benefit of doing that was I got both trailers on one note. So like my first trailer is right at $500. So those 2 trailers that I got through Ryder, they're coming in at $600 a month. And that's for both of them. They got them on one note. And that really does help, because if you can manage your expenses monthly like that, keep them low, and then you take that extra money, the profits, and you put them up and you save that capital for hard times, you can pay them off as you go down the road. When you feel comfortable enough, you can go ahead and pay them off. But you don't have to do that. You can keep your capital to make sure that your business has the money. Use the bank's money, because the bank, a regular bank, will give you a good percentage. You know, you won't have to pay so much in interest. If you go through these loan sharks, that's what I'm going to call them, they're going to eat you up. So the goal is to get your equipment through a bank at a low interest. Use their money if you have to use credit. That's just my opinion. I'm just throwing it out there. Now, other accounts that we have, RP account. Now, that is your international fuel thing, whatever. You know, basically your tags. You know, when you fill out your IFTA and you get your heavy vehicle use tax done, you can go get your tags. And mine run me about $2,700 a year. Now, the trailer tags I do not have to renew in Mississippi. They're permanent tags. The truck tags I have to get renewed each year. And this year it was $2,700 for the pair. And then you have your heavy vehicle use tax. You know, you have to pay that every year. Both of those were paid before you have to get the tags. And of course you have the IFTA account. Now the IFTA account, you have to file your IFTA quarterly. And I do all mine myself. You know, my truck office software gives me my mileage. Then the state of Mississippi sends me my form. I fill out my form, and if there's any left to pay, I pay it, and we're done. So I've done 3 IFTAs so far since being in business, and they're not that difficult. You can very well do them. I do everything myself. I haven't got anybody to help me yet. I don't burden my wife with it. She's got enough going on at home. She is a great help. Now, the next account let's talk about is state and federal withholding. When you have employees, you are responsible for withholding their income tax, their Social Security and Medicare tax. You have to withhold all that. And with federal, we're paying that on quarterly. But with our state, Mississippi, we have to pay that monthly. So every month I have to go in and pay monthly withholding tax to the state of Mississippi, which is okay, but it's just another step, another thing that you have to do. You have to make sure you do, because, you know, if you don't get it in there on time, or if you forget it, the penalties can be pretty strong. All right, now the next thing you have to worry about being in the trucking business is the most important, and it is Fmcsa Compliance. Making sure you are compliant with all the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration rules and policies. And in order to do that, I use OOIDA Compliance Department, and they are a great help. They have, you know, reminders, and they communicate, they answer the phone. You know, a lot of companies that you'll find that you're going to try to deal with when you go into the trucking business are really bad about not getting back in touch with you or ignoring your phone calls and such. And to me, that is one way I will stop doing business with you, or I will not do business with you, because when you're in business, customer is king. That is a philosophy that is fallen by the wayside in America, and that is not the philosophy that needs to, because customers are king. That you want their money, you need to treat them right. If you want them to do business with you, you need to watch your attitude and do the right thing in order to keep them coming back to you. That's just my opinion, but that's the one my company will stay with until the day I die. Customer is king. We will give you the best service. We will go the extra mile. That is the way you should operate. We are not going to have a bad attitude, and anybody in my organization that does have a bad attitude towards you, you tell me and we will get it handled. And that's our business philosophy in my company. Now, the next group of problems you'll run into is insurance. Insurance is a pain in my eye. See, you didn't know what I was going to say there, did you? Now, insurance, they hold you back from growing as much as they can, which don't make sense to me, because if you are in business and somebody wants to increase that business, you would think that they would jump at the opportunity to get more money from you in their business. But see, in insurance, they go to try to limit their risk. And honestly, it's life. There's going to be risk. You can try to limit it, and statistically, you might come out on top. But in the end, you got to try to make money. And when you're cutting your own throat, saying, no, I don't think we need to do that, you need to stay where you're at, that's not a good philosophy in business. Now, I could see it if we had a questionable history in the drivers that I hire, or in our maintenance, or anything like that. But they can look at all your previous jobs and all your previous records and find out that information to make sure you are a safe business person, and they can expand you. I can understand them wanting to do the background searches, and I can see some of the trash on the roads from some of the drivers that they drive and the way they keep up their equipment. But if you have a company that is trying to do the right thing, they're compliant, they have every piece of paper you need when you need it and how you need it, they don't have a history of wrecks or tickets or anything, I see no reason why your company policy should be such a large umbrella. You should be able to do it on a case-by-case basis. Have some account managers that really know their stuff. I'm not going to get too far off that, but the insurance companies will hold you back from growing. You need to understand that before you go out and purchase extra trucks or equipment or try to hire extra drivers. Make sure your insurance company is on board with anything you do before you do it. I mean, before you send out that first "we're hiring" notice, make sure that you can. You would think that wouldn't be a problem, but our society has grown to a state of nannyhood that I would have never have believed when I was a youngin'. Drug Consortium Compliance. Now, in the trucking business, you have to make sure that all your drivers are being tested for drugs. They're not on drugs or alcohol. They don't have a history of it. You got to make sure that you have a consortium. You cannot be your own drug tester. The Fmcsa will make sure that you are part of a consortium. That way they can tell you when to go in for randoms and such and so forth and so on. It's not a big hassle, but it does cost a couple of dollars every year for membership, and then it will cost you for the test. And rumors are they're talking about starting hair tests. So if they do that, that's going to cost you a little bit more, because they're not as cheap as the urine test. And then we'll go on over here and we're going to talk about fuel accounts. Now, you have to go out there and find you a fuel supplier that will give you credit. Right now we're with Love's, and $3,000 is the limit per week. You pay that fuel per week. So whatever fuel you use on, I think it's Tuesday, they take out our fuel money from my fuel account. So if you use 1,000 gallons that week, you're going to pay for it that week. You're not going to get, I have not found a fuel card with a month, a month allowed. You have to do it every week, not every month. You have to pay for it every week. I like less paperwork, and I like less, writing in the bank ledger. So I would love to have one by the month, but I can understand it can grow to be such a large amount. People won't pay it. When we're running full on, right now it's about $1,200 to $1,500 a week for my 2 trucks. So that could be about $6,000 plus every month. And I can understand, a lot of people, whenever they get in a bind, they don't want to pay them bills. But you got to pay your bills. You got to set the money to the side like you've already spent it. That's where a lot of people run into trouble. They see them dollars in them accounts and they fail to remember that those dollars have a place to go. Now, maintenance account and maintenance schedules are another thing that you will have to be putting up with. Your regular maintenance on your trucks. I don't have a maintenance account, but it's a good idea to have one. And your maintenance schedules, you need to keep up with your equipment. Keep it DOT compliant plus. Make it look good, make it be good. When they look at it, don't even give them a chance to write you up. Make sure that your airlines are not fading. Make sure there's no air leaks in your ride. Your tires look good. It's clean. You can do a very good job of that and pass any inspection they give you. You just got to stay on top of it. And if you have multiple trucks, get a quality mechanic and put him in charge of it and hold him accountable for things that happen. On top of that, you have your ELD account. We use the big roads, and right now I'm not real happy with them. I'm not going to go into why, but I'm not real happy with big roads and Fleet Complete. And then we have Truck Office. Trucking Office software is great. Couldn't have picked a better one, I don't believe. I really enjoy using them. And then you got your load boards, your DAT, your 123. I don't have subscriptions right now. I've got 123, but I'm not paying for any subscriptions because everything I do is with a direct shipper. And then after that, you got to deal with your payroll. Weekly, I pay my payroll. I give it to them on Thursday. That way they'll have Friday to do whatever needs to be done on their end, whether they need to pay bills. And then you got to deal with your brokers and your shipper relationships. You need to have those relationships to keep your freight and everything going like you need to make sure you have work to do. Now, I'm sure I'm forgetting some things, but I just wanted to make this video because it's Friday and we need to talk about business on Friday. I enjoy the new extra that I put on there, a little outro, whatever you want to call it. I added a couple of things to it. God bless, and I will catch y'all on the next ride.